Today, I want to discuss with you something, well, it's majorly delegated to elderly people, and sometimes it is delegated to religious leaders. But there are sometimes it's also delegated to us, and we might be in a situation where we need to be the one to break that news. Although I'm talking about the extreme case of the news, but I want to share with you how to break sad news, basically. How to break sad news. At one time or the other, we've suffered the loss of life. It's part of what we've been tested with in this world. And who is to tell the bereaved that they've lost somebody? It's a very critical question. I know of somebody that lost his life, and they could not even tell some of the family members for 2, 3, 4 days because they needed to manage them. If they had just told them all of a sudden, probably they would have lost some of them. But before I go to the actual loss of life, which is probably the highest of the breaking of sad news, when something happens, there is a lot of research have been conducted, and they validated that when something bad happens, for example, just imagine when you were in the university and there's a certain course majority of people failed. What is the impact of that failure? Let's say in a class of 100 people, you found out that about 80% of people had F, like 10 only had D7, C6, etc., and nobody even had A. You'll find out that that failure will not eat you if it were just to be out of 100 students, you were the only one that had F. Why is it like that? When a bad thing becomes uniform, it reduces the impact on the person that has suffered from it. So the next time you are about to tell somebody they have failed at a certain exam, the next time you are about to console somebody for losing something, you need to you shouldn't go there and speak as though they are the exception in the entire world. If you do like that, you are going to increase their sadness, and that is not something you want to do. For example, let's say somebody had a miscarriage and you are now coming there to console that person that had a miscarriage. You can get some facts generally in the world about how many people have miscarriage per year. I'm sure it's going to run into lots of millions, even hundreds of millions. So you can start your discussion with that person with that. Or you are even a medical doctor, and this is something they train medical doctors on. So you are a medical doctor, you want to tell somebody they've lost a fetus that they had. Instead of just going, madam, you've had a miscarriage, you are supposed to lay a foundation. You are supposed to lay something on the ground in order to break that news upon. Don't forget, when a problem is uniform, the impact reduces. And that's why if you watch the news when they're about to release WAEC result, NECO result, and JAMB result, a lot of people want to listen to the percentage, because the percentage of those that passed will give them hope. If the percentage of those that failed also is also high, it also helps them to tell people, a lot of people failed that exam. And in most cases, they will even they will put the blame on the person setting the questions. They will say, I can remember when we were in the university, we took some of the GST courses we took, and there was mass failure in that particular GST. So I was one of those that led the student union. We went to the Dean Student Affairs, and we complained that, no, there's a problem with this course, but I didn't fail that exam. I didn't fail the exam, but we went on behalf of our other students and went that this mass failure is not usual. So there must be a problem with the system since it was a CBT exam. And we told him one of the points we went there with was that even some of the students scored 0. That how can somebody score 0? And he explained simply to us, he said, if you keep on picking the wrong options, you are going to score 0. So my point is, people that failed the exam, they needed to retake it since it's a general studies. The unit is low, but you needed to retake it. And they retook the course, but they had lots of their level course mates that retook the course, so it reduced it. So the next time you want to break a sad news, try to make it look like a lot of people suffer from that particular problem. And that's why you see from medical doctors, they give you statistics. For example, on HIV, if they want to break the news to somebody that the person has contracted HIV and AIDS, they first tell you that this is not the end of life. You know, a lot of people are living with this thing and they are living a good life. All you need to do is to be careful of what you eat in terms of your diet, be religious with your drugs, etc. So they try to calm you down. Then they now tell you the fact that now you've contracted HIV and AIDS. And while they are doing that, they are also preparing your mind to also receive that particular news. So let me also now come to the extreme one, which is death. I lost someone very close to me 2 years ago, and when we heard about his demise, it was shocking. But the first person they informed of his demise amongst his employees, who was one of the heads in one of his establishments, they called him first. Are you aware? Hello, is this also person? Yes, I know you to be a very responsible and mature man. Are you aware your boss is with us? He said yes. He said, okay, I'll call you back. So the doctor ended that call. Why did he end that call? He used that one to create the possibility of him thinking, I hope Oga is not dead. I hope Oga is not dead. And that prepares your brain mentally to receive even if the worst of information, the worst of news. And later on, he also called him back. He said, the situation is very critical and we would need all the support we can get from prayer and everything. So please just keep this to yourself, but just keep praying that God helps us. And as of that time, he was already dead. So the third time he now called, they had already informed the wife who was close to them in the hospital, and the wife had fainted. So that was when the doctor now called the administrator again. Hello, sorry, we lost your boss, but now that we informed Madam too has fainted. So now he has given, but we are trying our best to make sure Madam comes to life. It is just shock. So immediately said, sir, Oga is dead. Oga is dead. Please, Madam, please do whatever you can to save Madam. Please do whatever. So he said, no, there won't be a problem. We are going to revive her. So he gave him a very bad news, but still gave another news that is not as bad as this, that had a remedy. So the next time somebody is bereaved, and you are in the situation to break that news to that person, you need to prepare their brain for that shock. In one of the episodes, I discussed with you a woman that died upon hearing that his son died. How did it happen? It was in a village. And the son, the thing they call these cars without buses without back. So the son jumped into it and bidded farewell to the mother. As the car was going, if you want to jump from that particular those particular backless cars, you need to remove your legs and your hands at the same time. If you remove your leg, the car will start dragging you. If you remove your hand and your leg is still there, you fall on your head. So I think that particular man, he was not an expert. He did not know how to come down from that kind of car. So he flew. He removed his hand, his leg was still there. So he fell and the car was coming from behind. And I think the car climbed him. So a man that saw how that happened just went to the house. So person's mother, your son is dead though. He was jumping from a car and a car crushed him. Immediately after that, the woman fainted. She collapsed. They took her to the hospital. They were unable to revive her and she died. Until today, the husband is still alive, and the husband tells that man that came to break that news that you were the one who killed my wife. Why? Because he did not have the emotional intelligence on how to break sad news. So this is something we might be in the position to do at any point in time. You need to prepare their brain. That's why if it is religious leaders, they will tell you that from God we have come and to God we shall return. And this happened with my mom when she lost her father. When she saw about 5-6 elderly people coming to our house, when they entered, she said, how is my father? And they said, your father is fine. But he said, no. So why is my father not here? You people, you move with my father. You are his friends. If nothing has happened, then he's supposed to be here. But why she's inquiring about what had happened to the father, she said, how is my mom? They said, your mom is fine. But she went back to her father, that these are my father's friends. And that prepared her mind. When they told her, she shouted, she cried, but she did not faint. So the next time you want to break a very bad news to the bereaved, or you want to break a news to somebody, make sure you prepare them mentally for that news. And you also use some religious scriptures, you use some data at least to back what you are saying in preparing their minds for the worst or for the bad that is about to unfold to them. Thank you till I see you in the next episode.
Ramadan Mubarak.